I think we have experienced a wonderful masterclass today, and I can promise that we keep the best lecture for the end. Just to tell that I would like to disclose and give you a look into the future and what EUFOREA may come up with during the next years. And therefore, I'm actually not the best place to disclose all of that information. And I have asked Gert Mariën, who is the managing director of EUFOREA, to lecture instead of myself and to disclose to you how we think we can improve the level of control, how we can prevent disease better in Belgium and in Europe as well. And it's good that Gert accepted the challenge to disclose what we are all up to and what you might see in the upcoming years as products of EUFOREA. I also would like to explicitly thank the whole team of EUFOREA that was willing to support Jean Bousquet and the ARIA team to make this masterclass happen today. There is Amy Quinn, Lindsay Sippers, there is Anna Bedbroek, there is Fabienne Pourchois, there is Kathleen Martes, there is Lindsay Sippers, there is Nicolas, my son as well. There is Benoit, who was very supportive in all the designs of the logos and the program and so on. So I think they deserve a big applause. So please, Gert, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Peter. So imagine a situation where patients with allergic rhinitis would have better access, earlier access to treatment, and would even have more effective treatment, and eventually would better control their outcomes and anticipate the development of asthma. Essentially, imagine a scenario where patients would be early diagnosed, adequately referred to the right treatment, thanks to improvements in their awareness on the treatment options, the symptoms, the complications, the consequences, where also first-line healthcare providers would play a role in coaching the patients, and where technology would be leveraged. The biomarker, so-called, the new biomarker is the mHealth, Professor Bousquet was telling earlier today, and I fully agree with him. Imagine a situation where the treatment effectiveness would improve, thanks to improvements in medication adherence, where I also think that patient coaches can play a significant role. Imagine also a situation where the organization of care could be improved by better transmural collaboration between first, second, and third line of care, but also from a multidisciplinary approach. Don't you think that this might make an improvement in better control of patients with allergic rhinitis? Wouldn't it be incredibly valuable and interesting to understand together today what measures we should be taking together to better control these patients? And that is something that I would like to discuss with you very briefly today. We will certainly continue that. And I'm personally very passionate and very delighted to stand here in front of you. And I thank also personally Professor Bousquet and Professor Hellings for this opportunity to speak here about that with you, about this fundamental question in the management of allergic rhinitis and asthma. But let me take you back first where we stand today. We have a significant pool of patients with allergic rhinitis, the patient pool. This is related to prevalence, 20 to 25% in Europe, for example, but also related to uncontrolled patients, but also related to patients that are symptomatic, either treated or untreated, and they might stay too long in the pool. So with global demographic changes and development, the pool might become bigger, and it might even grow more if we don't accelerate change in the treatment of allergic rhinitis and asthma. So once more, it's time to act, and I fully support the idea of change management in allergic rhinitis and asthma. So we need to understand what exactly can we improve together in addition to already ongoing scientific and technological measures that we currently take. So I'd like to do it together with you from 3 angle points. I think personally we have clinical evidence or sufficient evidence on the clinical effectiveness of the treatments available for allergic rhinitis. To a large extent, but not probably 100%, we have cost effectiveness for all the treatments. Probably not in every country, but certainly enough to convince policymakers and payers. So we might draw the conclusion, very hypothetically, that there are some challenges in daily healthcare practice, in the daily delivery. And I'm not finger pointing at all of us here, but it's more the organization of care as such that we might have to zoom into. Let's do that together. To do that adequately, I think we should look to the integrated care pathway from a holistic perspective. It's very important to find all the critical influencing factors that have an impact on the control and variation of patient outcomes in allergic rhinitis and asthma. We found 4 key areas of improvement. Probably it's not complete, but it's already a first good attempt, which is based on surveys, questionnaires, interviews, and research. The first improvement that we see within ARIA and EUFOREA is an improvement to improve timely access to treatment. If we could do that together, we might be preventing asthma. For that, we might have to educate patients passionately and completely, but also in an unbiased way. Patient education is very important, it's very complex, it's a big chunk of work, because we might want to collaborate with a lot of organizations and stakeholders to make patients aware about the consequences and to teach them how to detect the disease in an early stage. Mobile health, as I said earlier, is also a leverage here. I think it's certainly a big improvement area. The second improvement area relates to treatment effectiveness. I'm not saying that the treatments are not effective, but we have certainly some potential for improvement. Let's think about improving medication adherence. Let's think about further adoption and understanding of guidelines for allergen immunotherapy in the field and to apply them in daily practice even more than today. What about further educating doctors that won't like to prescribe immunotherapy but need further guidance in how to apply the treatment algorithms in daily practice and select patients and to keep track of their patients? Education will be very much important here, but let's keep it also very simple. That is what Peter Hellings told me several times before. We also see a challenge, an opportunity to monitor patients along the course of an integrated care pathway. It's important to keep track of patients and their outcomes throughout all the stages of the disease, so that healthcare providers and patients themselves can be much more proactive in diagnosis, detection, and also in management towards control of the disease. By the way, by doing that, we collect a lot of data that we can capture into registries. The registry is not the purpose here, but it would enable more research, and that would evolve in best practices that we can exchange between centers, doctors, and countries. There is also an opportunity for more efficiency in healthcare, as well as multidisciplinary and transmural collaboration. I'm personally very much convinced that if we could all organize that together, patients would be coordinated and guided more smoothly to the right therapy at the right moment, at the right location, and hence be better off and improve their quality of lives. This is a joint responsibility. So these are 4 solutions. Probably it's not complete, but I think it's a first good attempt. And these solutions are solutions that we might support by digital solutions. We talk a lot about digital, and I embrace it more than 100%, but they are more supportive to the solutions in allergic rhinitis that we want to bring. And that's why we call about integrated solutions within EUFOREA and ARIA. Digital is supporting a process solution in healthcare delivery. It's not the purpose on itself, although I embrace it very much. But here comes the clue. We have to work together in daily practice to accelerate the change. We have to do it together. The time is now, and only if we work together we can accelerate change, adopt the solutions with passion, with discipline, and with focus, so that we could impact more patients. Essentially, this is, in a very humble way, within the genes of ARIA and EUFOREA. We want to bring new innovative solutions, not only develop them with you, but also to bring them into practice of healthcare delivery. Join forces and accelerate change. which is a good strategy to further control patients with allergic rhinitis and potentially asthma. So I would like to share with you a few digital solutions to be a little bit more concrete here and talk about it with you. One of the solutions the ARIA and EUFOREA team is working on is an online e-learning patient platform. A lot of credits go to my dear colleague Benoit Puget, who has been working very hard on that, also involving a lot of KOLs. But this is, for example, the entry page over patient area. It's a dedicated website where patients could find adequate, unbiased and complete information about the disease, the treatment options, the complaints. It has been reviewed by multiple KOLs and even more. We are still in the cycle of validation. We have currently launched that for chronic rhinitis, and we will take immediately the next step to allergic rhinitis. Patients could, for example, this kind of website where they find all the information. Patients are already very much informed, but it's a challenge to make them adequately informed. But making this e-learning platform is not the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is here to make patients and populations connected with the e-learning platform. That is a bigger challenge, but we need to start somewhere, obviously. So therefore, we are brainstorming about a strategy. How can we reach more patients in an early stage, leveraging multiple stakeholders, specialists, GPs, pharmacists, patient organizations, and policymakers, and so forth, to spread the message and connect patients adequately with the right information. And this all in the function of better timely access. By the way, the allergy app is also one of the mechanisms and tools or mediums to connect patients with this kind of information. Another solution is more an e-learning platform for physicians. This is not very new, this is not immediately breathtaking, but on the other hand, the way we would position it is as a kind of preparation, a preparation to masterclasses, to workshops, a way to further update all your knowledge and informations, but also a way to have immediate and consistent connection or access to new therapies, to new informations, to new educational materials. We have been interviewing a lot of physicians recently, and more than a third was saying they're missing connection to new treatments, to new educational materials. This is something that we have to hear, that we have to do something with. I don't say that what we do today is not good enough, but there is a certain voice in the market, that, or in the field at least, that we need to address. The third solution is about a registry that would facilitate research. Of course, with the fantastic allergy diary app, active in 23 countries, in 17 languages, a lot of data has been captured. Similar in chronic rhinitis, Peter Hellings and the team has also launched a wonderful app and a growing patient population to collect data. We're all collecting data here about patient outcomes, patient profiling, the experience of the patient, and we will further continue and not limit ourselves to health economic data. This is very much important to position new treatments, such as AIT, at a high radar of politicians, regulators, and so forth. So the clue here to success is to make sure that patients continuously use the app to register outcomes so that the registry can become stronger and also available for you in your daily practice, in your country, and where you could also benchmark, not with other doctors of course, but with other centers and exchange best practices. I personally am very passionate about this registry and the research that it could bring along. I hear people talking about value-based healthcare, the relation between making an improvement in patient outcomes while maintaining and controlling the costs. This registry would enable that. Wouldn't that be great?
Please.
How many minutes? Just one? Okay. I accelerate here. I'm talking about change acceleration, so I try to accelerate here. So the allergy app has already been introduced several times here today, which makes us very happy with that. But I'd like to quickly explain that the app is not just an app. It is a compass for the patient. It is a measurement instrument for a registry. It is a way to educate patients. And the last solution that I would like to share with you is a new development that we are taking within ARIA and EUFOREA. It's a physician dashboard. that gives more information to the physician about the patient outcomes, but also it gives a certain context to the doctor. What has the patient been doing lately? Number of visits to the GP, to the pharmacist, etc. So he sees the patient outcomes in the context of the activities of the patient and has more pragmatism to have a discussion with the patient. Eventually, we will also include algorithms to measure medication adherence and adherence to guidelines. Professor Busquet and his team, together with us, is also working on this clinical decision support system. I'm so passionate about it because it will help physicians subscribing or utilizing the AIT guidelines adequately. So just to conclude here, within ARIA and EUFOREA, it is our mission to bring these kind of solutions into practice to accelerate change and impact throughout all our activities. But we want to do it with you and for the patients. And we have made a lot of plans for the next 3 years that we would like to take with you because the patients are knocking on the door and we have to act. Thank you very much.